Lesson 4.8, Feature Writing, Organizing the Body of Your Article. Once you've gone through and kind of analyzed all the quotes you have and decided what's just the information that you can summarize yourself and what are the real juicy quotes that you want to use and what do you just not need, and you have it all highlighted up, what you want to do is go ahead and bring down that, open a fresh Google document, and you can actually share that Google document with me, usually is what I like to see. And this is going to be actually your feature article. So we're going to start working on the body of that. And if you need to zoom out on these things, you can always go there and zoom out. Now we can kind of see both documents. I've got everything in the frame that I want to see, and we're good to go. So we are not going to start our article at the beginning, the feature lead. We're going to skip down to the body first, which in a feature article we organize as, if you'll recall, summary quote organization or transition quote organization. So first let's bring our quotations over to the other document. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look through and I'm generally going to kind of figure out what is the juiciest quote I have. What's the best quote I have, if you don't like that word juicy, what's the best quote I have, and then maybe what's the second and third best or most important quote. And when I say best, I mean that. What's the most interesting and important to the story. So let's look at our quotes here. Sometimes it's tempting to pick your first quote and make it be whatever happened first chronologically in order of time. Like we could talk about her first day of school. There's several quotes about that. But I think the best, most interesting quote that really sets the tone of the story is actually this quote down here by her classmate. And I like this quote where she's acknowledging the strange, unusual thing about this story. The interesting thing is that this sophomore is 10 years old. And I love this student's reaction as my first quote. So I'm going to highlight that quote. I'm going to use Command C to copy that quote. You can also just do Edit, Copy. And then I'm going to come over to this document and I'm going to go Edit, Paste, or Command V. And I have that first quote over here. Now, I know that that quote needs to be in proper format, so I'm going to pop a quotation mark there. And I'm going to go ahead and do a comma here, and I'm going to say the student's name. So we would say Tanisha's classmate Sylvia Keeling said. That way that quote's just about ready to go. We might end up editing it some, but that's pretty good. So I'm going to go down here, and now I'm going to look, and I'm going to kind of decide how to tell the story from there. It's tempting to jump right to that first day of school moment again, but I'm going to look around. There's so many things on that first day of school, and that's great, but I'm really taking this angle of what's unusual about it. So I really want to pick a quote, the next quote that kind of goes on that track. And the quote that I really like for that one is this one right here. I didn't exactly, this one that she talks about, yes, it's a little strange. She's acknowledging that and how she's still a regular kid. So I'm going to copy that quote and I'm going to put it over here and I'm going to set that one up. Quotation mark, and this was her. So Tanisha, sophomore, Tanisha Abraham said. And again, we might end up changing how these look, but I'm going to go ahead and do it like this, and we can always edit that later. So now I'm just going to go through and kind of pick the quotes that I want from there. So because I'm recording this video, you can't see this, but getting all these quotes in order and kind of feeling like they make sense going from one to the next took me probably about 10 to 12 minutes. So that takes some real time and thinking. And I'll tell you right now, I have these last two quotes at the end, and I I could not really find a place. I like this quote so much, but I couldn't really find a place for it. So I'm kind of leaving it hanging there at the end because that's one possible way to end it. I could possibly end it with this quote. I like both of these, but I'm not sure which one's really going to be my last one or how I'm going to get there. But I'm going to leave it on there for now. And if you look now, this is the body with all the quotes. And in the next video, I'm going to show you how do you take this now and start writing around it with our transitions so that it starts to make a coherent story. And then we'll lastly do our feature lead and our nut graph, and we'll work on that. But before we're done, just take a minute to pause the video and read through those quotes and see if you can start to kind of see what order or how you might organize these, and then play the video again once you've done that, and I'll explain the order. Go ahead and pause right now. Okay, so if you read this, you might have noticed that it's kind of coming into some sections. This first section right here is kind of just about how, look, it's weird. This is what's unusual about the story. This is interesting. This is cool. We want to get that out of the way because this is really the heart of the story. And then right here, we jump into the next most important question, which is, wait, why is this 10-year-old girl in high school? So we're answering the why question that our readers want to know. So this is, hey, this is unusual. What are they thinking, feeling about it? We're emphasizing the heart of the story here. Then we're going to the why on this one. Then we're going into the here, what happened on the first day. So this is kind of what happened. Kind of get an idea of how that first day went because we had so many good quotes about that. Then lastly, this chunk here is really kind of about her struggle, how she's doing. I'm going to do strug for short there. Her struggle, how she's doing, making friends, kind of that, how is it going? How's it going? So we get an idea of that. So things kind of go together. We have them chunked together. And what we're going to do in the next video is how do we transition between these so that these all flow together and make sense.